once again. I'm here waiting for one of my clients who is late, but I've started to appreciate this because I realize it's the only downtime that I really get throughout my day is when I have time in between clients because once I get to them or once that phone starts ringing, it's just nonstop. Go, go, go. Write all these notes. Do all these visits. So at first when I started this job, I was like, sorry about that. At first when I started the job, I was kind of like, man, this person is late. It's a waste of time because I need to get here and go there. Now I'm kind of like, I'm almost glad that you're late because it gives me a little bit of a chance to breathe. So, I wanted to talk about how you can't always be first. And I know a lot of people will be like, obviously, you can't always be first. But when I was growing up, I was in a small school, I was in a small rural area of Canada, and just in a lot of things, I was finishing first, whether it was the different sports that I participated in, or whether it was school. I always had top grades in my class up to a point. Up to a point. But a couple of things that come to mind that were really tough to take L's. One of them was the National Spelling Bee of Canada. So my mom would enter me and my sister into the spelling bee. I think I participated 3 times. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was about 3 times, 2 or 3. And I was always first place, or the majority of the time, I was first place in my class when we had our in school spelling bees. There was a few times that I wasn't, but let's say 90% of the time I was. So that's what I was familiar with. So you get into the National Spelling Bee, it's all different people in from all different schools. So you might be the biggest fish in the small pond, but you could be like an average sized fish in the big pond type of thing. So there's a lot of good spellers that come from all over the place. So I remember this book that we used to get with all the words that they have, and we would go through that book every day, every night. We'd go through the spellings in the car, we'd go through the spelling at home, we'd go through the spelling everywhere. Mark, spell this word, spell that word, spell this word. I never liked that. I hated doing the spelling bees. I hated the spelling bee practice, and I hated being at the spelling bee, everything about it. But this one year, I got really far because they have the initial preliminary rounds type of thing where you go through the spelling. And if you get through that round, I think it's several people that make it through that round. I don't remember how many out of who's there. But let's just say at least 30% of the people who spell their words correctly in that round make it to the final round where they are going to make it to the second round. I think there was 3 rounds. Don't quote me on any of this because I don't remember those details perfectly, but I do remember the part of the story that is relevant to me. So I got through the preliminary stage and then I was on the next stage. And I remember going through, and these kids were getting knocked out of this tournament one by one, spelling these words wrong. And I was just going through. I was just spelling all my words right. And we got down to a final 4. And they said, we have now completed all the words that we had within the spelling bee book. So then they said, we got bonus words now. And after the top 4, the top 3 all get an award. They all get a trophy or whatever. And I think first place got a trophy and money and a scholarship, whatever the case is. 4 is a participation award, and 3 and up is an actual award. And I was not a fan of participation awards in anything. So I remember they gave me the word princesses. and I could hear the word in my head, and I could spell the word in my head, Princesses. But for some reason, under the pressure, I second guessed myself, and I said Princesses. And immediately I was like, oh, I spelled the word wrong. So my only hope after that was for the next person to spell the word wrong also, so that it would keep me in the game. So the next person went Princesses. They're like, thank you. You are now eliminated. Worst feeling ever. You can combine my saxophone third chair story. You can combine me coming off the bench on my basketball team in high school, anything that I can think of, second place in some piano competitions. This one was the worst for me because I knew how to spell the word. We had been there so long, it was such a long process, and I had spelled so many words right, and I slipped up on a bonus word. And it's tough. It's tough to finish fourth. Like, I'd rather finish 15, 20, 30 than finish fourth. So fast forward. When I got into distance running, which was when I was about 28, I think I did my first distance run, which is only a 5K, but a 5K was a larger distance than I had ever done in my life. And when I did my first one, I wasn't expecting to place. I was just like, I'm doing this as a personal goal, and I hope I get to the finish line. So I didn't care what time I did, and I didn't care what place I finished in. So the first one, I completed it. I think it was 50 something minutes. And I was like, okay, I'm happy that I finished, and I'm going to try some more of these and hopefully improve my time. And I remember getting into this one particular race after I had done some more cardio training. And for some reason, I was like, I'm going to finish in the top 5 or the top 10. I don't know why that was in my head, but that's where I thought I was going to finish. So I got up to the starting line. And something I learned about running etiquette is that the people who are in competition to actually win, like they know that they are in contention to win, will make sure to stand right at the starting line so that they don't lose seconds having to run around people. And so I stood right at the starting line, and then these guys were like, hey, step back. And I was thinking, we all paid for this race, and I'm going to beat y'all anyways. So I don't know why I have to step back. So eventually I conceded a little. I let them get in front of me, and I was maybe in the third row behind those guys. So the race started, and I was right there with them for about the first 3 to 4 minutes. And I'm like, these guys are not so great. I'm right up here keeping up with them. But their pace for that 5K was much faster than what I was capable of for my pace. I was running their pace. So after about 3, 4 minutes, I was out of gas. Tried to run again, couldn't. Tried to run again, couldn't. So running somebody else's pace set me behind. Fast forward, I did plenty more of these races, and I improved my times significantly. I think my fastest 5K that I have ever done now is 22 minutes and something seconds, which is significantly faster. Less than half the time of that 55 or 50 plus minute one that I had done the first time I did it, but still far from first. So now I just have a mentality of the same thing that I was saying yesterday. My first place is just finishing, putting in the best effort that I could possibly put in, and doing it the best that I could do. Because there could be somebody who finishes very well, and I look at their time and I'm like, you did a good job. They finished the race in 15 minutes, but their aim was to finish it in 12 or 13 because they've already done 15, and they had a bigger goal than that. It's all relative to who you are, what you're capable of. Um, so that's just my quick message about you don't always have to be first. Let your best effort represent your first place trophy. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank y'all.